The Fuji class were the first proper battleships to enter service with the Imperial Japanese Navy. Originally ordered from Great Britain in 1894, the ship's intended purpose was, ironically enough, actually to counter the two ships of the Ding Yuan class. In the end, neither of the two ships, Fuji or Yashima, came into service in time to meet their Chinese counterparts in combat. Their main armament consisted of 4 12-inch guns and 2 turrets, one mounted forward of the superstructure and one aft, setting a continuing standard for Japanese pre-dreadnoughts. Both ships participated in the battle and subsequent siege of Port Arthur during the Russo-Japanese War, where they engaged the Russian Pacific Squadron in the first battleship-on-battleship action in history. The Japanese battleships were spotted by the Russian cruiser Boyarin whilst trying to enter the harbor, and the battleship action quickly ensued. Due to the range of the engagement, the Japanese battleships chose to engage the Russian shore batteries with their main armament and focus their secondary fire on their battleship counterparts. This turned out to be a very poor decision, and the Japanese managed to accomplish little during the action. Whilst engaging the Russian ships, Fuji was hulled by 2 12-inch shells, suffering 2 dead and 10 wounded, and forcing the Japanese to disengage for fear of further hits. This withdrawal would, conveniently enough, prevent Yashima from taking any damage. The two battleships resumed blockade duties around Port Arthur, and would subsequently come together to try and engage Russian positions on 2 occasions. Both times, the battleships tried blindly firing over mountains into the harbor, and accomplished almost nothing, with the only result being Fuji was struck by another 12-inch shell. During the later parts of the siege, the Japanese would continue to attempt long-range bombardment missions of the Russian positions, something that would not end up going well for Yashima. Whilst helping to blockade the port, Yashima ended up running into a Russian minefield and would strike 2 mines, holding the ship below the waterline and sinking her, remarkably enough with no casualties. Despite this loss, the Japanese continued to operate in the area, and Fuji would continue to operate without her sister, getting yet another chance to engage the Russians in late 1904. This came in the form of the Battle of the Yellow Sea, where Fuji formed part of the Japanese battle line. She spent most of the battle engaging her Russian counterparts with 12-inch gunfire, and was subsequently not struck in return. After the battle, Fuji continued to blockade Port Arthur until the Battle of Tsushima in 1905. This action saw Fuji again form up with the Japanese battle line, and again engage her Russian counterparts in fierce action. This time, she was not quite as lucky as she had been at the Battle of the Yellow Sea, suffering 12 hits from Russian gunfire, one of which struck her aft barbette and detonated her propellant charges. Despite this, Fuji gave a good account of herself, and would end up sinking the Russian battleship Borodino after one of her 12-inch salvos detonated her magazine. This battle marked the end of the Russo-Japanese War, and after the war came to a close, Fuji continued to serve with the Japanese battle fleet all the way up until 1922, at which point she was stricken and disarmed under the terms of the Washington Naval Treaty. Her hull continued to serve as a barrack ship and training center until 1945,